These yoga pants are kind of suffocating me right now. Alright, so for today's Foundation Friday, I thought it would be fun to go onto Sephora.com, look at the best-selling foundations, and give you guys kind of like mini reviews and my thoughts on them. So we're going to look at the first 4 rows, which is 16 foundations. I'm pretty sure I have video reviews on all of them except about 2, so I'm going to link all of the reviews I have on these foundations down below next to the actual product. Keep in mind that because a product is under the best-selling category doesn't necessarily mean it's the most loved. Best-selling doesn't mean that they're the top rated. It just means that they're the best selling. So almost like the most hyped up, it's what people are purchasing the most. But that would also be a fun video going through the highest rated. So let me know if you guys would want to see that, or if you want to see this for like the best selling foundations on Ulta or Amazon or something. We could do them all. But if you enjoy this video while you're watching, you can give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Foundation Fridays, I typically do first impression reviews, but sometimes we'll switch it up. There have been a handful of new foundation releases lately. The Urban Decay New Naked Foundation, the Pat McGrath one, a bunch of other ones. So those are all coming. I haven't had a day where I can film like a full wear test video just due to health stuff. So I'm trying to make it work with what I can. Okay, so before I say the #1 best-selling foundation, leave your guesses down below. I'm curious. Out of all of like the foundations you can think of, leave what you think is the best-selling one down below. All right, here we go. About to spoil it. So the #1 best-selling foundation on Sephora is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter. If you watch my videos, you know that this is one of my least favorite foundations ever made. I reviewed this foundation during one of the 15 days of foundation a couple seasons ago. It looks pretty horrible on my skin. So for those of you who are new, I have dry skin, normal to dry skin. I had oily skin before going on Accutane. Coming off Accutane, I had dry skin, and now it's kind of just more normal to dry. Still is on the dry side though. Like I always say, I feel like I have to put the disclaimer whenever I'm doing videos like this, but foundations look completely different on different skin types. Foundations that looked great when I had oily skin look horrible on me now, and vice versa. So just because I don't like a foundation doesn't mean it couldn't look amazing on your skin. But this is one of those foundations that looks absolutely horrendous on my skin. It looks like super dry, super chalky, doesn't give me good coverage. It just looks awful. Same thing with the Fenty concealer. Just doesn't work for me. It would make sense that this was the best selling. I do feel like this was kind of like the most hyped up foundation launch this year or last year. When did this launch? Last year. #2 best selling foundation on Sephora is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This one doesn't surprise me because this one has kind of steadily stayed up there throughout the years. I think this one is kind of like you either love it or you hate it, and it's never worked for my skin. I see people in real life wearing it. Like I remember specifically one person at a meetup in Seattle or in Bellevue. Her skin looked so flawless. Like I'm talking smooth. It looked like she had a filter on her skin, and she said she was wearing this foundation. And I was like, that looks nothing like how it looks on my skin. It looks like a cakey hot mess on my skin. On my skin, I much prefer the Double Wear Nude. This one is definitely much more matte and on the heavy side. You can really feel this one on your skin. I just noticed this one actually has more shades than the Fenty foundation too, so didn't realize that. That's cool. All right, #3 best selling is one that I actually like. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. So they have an HD foundation and an Ultra HD foundation. HD looks similar to how the Double Wear looks on my skin. It looks really cakey, not great, but the Ultra HD is much more of a thin, smooth kind of formula, and you can build it up. I actually haven't tried this one on my dry skin, so I'm going to keep this on my desk so I can try it out soon. But this one, when I had oily skin, it did sit really nice over my acne and just over texture and stuff. It looked really nice and smoothing, so I'm excited to give this one a go on my skin type now. So #4 is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I reviewed that one during a 15 days of foundation. I ended up actually returning that one. I rarely return foundations because I usually like to keep them even if I don't like them. I have a whole drawer of foundations that I don't like. I like to keep them to reference in future videos, but I'm pretty sure I returned that one, or I just recently decluttered it. I did a foundation declutter video a few months ago that I'll link in the eye and down below. Pretty sure I returned it though because it just really did not work for my skin, and it's freaking expensive. I think I had the mini size, and the mini size I want to say was like around 40 bucks. The full size I think is like 62 or around there. That foundation, similar to the Estee Lauder, looks beautiful on a lot of people's skin. On mine, it just was like super, super average to me. Not worth the money. Like I have $7 foundations that look so much better than that looked on my skin. I didn't get a luminous finish, and I just really found it to be like super average, medium coverage, just like nothing. There wasn't one specific thing that I liked about it. Okay, so number 5, I actually thought this was super cool that this is on the bestsellers list already, because this is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder. This is a newer launch, so the fact that it's number 5 on the best-selling list is pretty cool for Makeup Forever. Like, you go, guys. A lot of people have been talking about this, and with what's the saying I'm looking for? With good reason. Since I have textured skin, my skin is very finicky with powders. This is a true smoothing, blurring powder foundation. I actually like to use this under my eyes. I like to use it to set my face. I can use it on its own as well, but I do like using it over liquid foundation better. It is beautiful. I do think this powder is worth investing in, no matter what your skin type. I've heard people with oily skin liking this, and also with dry skin. My shade is Y215. It's not a perfect shade match. It's a little bit on the yellow side, but it can work. So number 6 is the It Cosmetics CC Cream in the silver tube, none of which are these. I actually can't find it. I know I have it somewhere. I think I have like 3 bottles somewhere. I cannot find it. So I have these to show you and hold up instead. So the CC in the silver one is kind of like the original one. I actually much prefer this one. This is the Illuminating CC Cream. It's not the most long lasting, but if you want something that's just like super plumping and dewy and has coverage and feels good on the skin that you're just gonna wear for like half a day or like running errands or something, I love this one. Not a fan of the Bye Bye foundation. The CC Matte I actually really like. But as far as the silver one on the bestsellers list, it doesn't look great on my skin. It looks too heavy and cakey. If you want something that's matte, I would definitely go with the CC Matte, this newer one, if you want something more on the matte side. All right, number 7 is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation. This one, again, makes sense to me why it's on the bestsellers list, just because when this launched, it was like all people were talking about. I feel like this and the Hourglass Stick Foundation, I remember them launching around the same time, and I feel like they both were super hyped up. I was actually kind of surprised the Hourglass Stick Foundation wasn't still on there on the bestsellers, but this one looks really awful on my skin. I have tried this one since having dry skin, and it looks the same. It looks super cakey on my skin. It just is not good looking. So this one to me is definitely not worth the money if you want a good stick foundation. The Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation is life. Number 8 on the Sephora bestsellers is a powder foundation. It's the BareMinerals Original Loose Powder Foundation that I actually recently did a review on like a few months ago, and I cannot find that one either. I think this is a sign that I need to clean up my filming desk situation, because I don't know where half the things are, and that product really didn't work for me. I tried it in every possible way now. I also tried it as like just a setting powder to see if I would like it, and it just doesn't look good on my skin. End of that. I can see why that one's on the bestsellers list though. That's another one kind of like the Double Wear by Estee Lauder, where it's kind of just stayed popular over the years. I think still somehow a lot of people, when they get into makeup, I don't know if it's because when you go into Ulta and they want like an easy powder foundation to suggest or something, they direct you to BareMinerals, but I feel like it's still somehow one of those products that gets recommended to like beginners, even though it's actually pretty time consuming and like tricky to work with. It's not just a powder like the Makeup Forever one that you could like throw on really easily. It actually takes some like work to really blend it out and work it into your skin. So I don't know, but they need to just start recommending this instead, in my opinion. Number 9 on the bestsellers is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. When I had oily skin, this one looked so beautiful on my skin. It wasn't the most long lasting on oily skin, which is why I didn't reach for it a ton, but for the first, I would say like 5 or 6 hours, if I am remembering correctly, it would look super beautiful. It had like a satin, really smooth looking finish, which again is hard to achieve over acne and texture when I had it. So I did really like this. If you have acne and you want something that covers it but still looks like smooth, this one might be worth giving a go if you can find other products underneath and over top to kind of like control the oil. But this one on my dry skin now, I actually have a video testing it on my skin now, and it looks so different. It's wild. It looks cakey, super heavy. It just like sits completely differently on my skin. Just depending on your skin type, you might love this one. Next up is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra 24-Hour Makeup. This one needs to be cleaned. So when I had oily skin, I tried to make this foundation work on my skin so many times because it is pretty highly rated, and if you have oily skin, a lot of people love this foundation. On my skin, for whatever reason, it looked similar to the Double Wear, but I would say even a little bit worse. I remember it looking very, again, heavy, cakey, and almost like a little bit chalky. It just always looked like really off on my skin. Number 11 is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer. I was having like a brain fart moment when I was picking out the foundations to put in this basket over this product, because I have no recollection of trying this, but I feel like I have. I feel like I got that off of Glambot or something, but I might be getting it confused with the Jouer. I don't know. You guys can let me know. I may have talked about it in a video before. I feel like I definitely have tried it out. But I do love the Jouer Luminizing Moisture Tint. If you're in the market for a good tinted moisturizer and you want something that's like dewy and just looks like skin, this one is so beautiful. The only thing is the shade is too dark for me. Opal, it's pretty orangey. But I also love the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. Super pretty. This one gets a little bit tacky. It does have like a gel kind of finish. But both of these I do really like. Both have SPF 20, SPF 30, just to give you some options if you want something similar to the Laura Mercier. Number 12 is Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation. The Kat Von D ghosts have some feelings. Again, not surprised that this is on the bestsellers. This one has also been around for forever. I feel like it was really popular back in the day, like 5 years ago on YouTube. This one has never looked good on my skin. It looks super heavy, cakey, a little bit worse than the Estee Lauder Double Wear. It just is like thick. She thick. Number 13, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe not. Number 13 is the Dior Face and Body Backstage Foundation. I have a review on it. Didn't work for my skin, but it seems like for oily skin, a lot of people really love it. But on my skin, it just really did not work well. But I think if you have oily skin, it would probably wear completely different. Number 14 is another Dior one. This is the Dior Airflash. This one has also been talked about for a long time on YouTube, and I can see why it's on the bestsellers list. This one I have a couple different videos on. I actually tried it recently in a like products I never reached for video, I think, and I have been using it more since then. The only thing with this one is that one, the lightest shade is way too dark, so I have to use it either mixed in or if I have self tanner on, so that's why I don't reach for this one a ton. But I definitely like it much better if I spray it on a palette or like directly spray it on the brush and then put it on my face. I cannot spray this one on my face. It just gets everywhere. So I feel like if this was in like a different form, if they made this just into like a liquid foundation, I would like it a lot better and I would use it a lot more. Number 15 is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation, and I'm actually wearing this one on my face right now. I wanted to wear one of the foundations I was going to be talking about, and this one I was like staring at the other day and almost put on, but then I remembered it broke me out and it has a ton of fragrance and it has just like crappy ingredients in it, so I didn't do it. But then today I did it. Don't ask me why I put it on my face if I know it breaks me out. Do it for the video. This one has always been like such a struggle for me because it looks so beautiful on the skin. Like it's complete full coverage. It has a beautiful finish, but then there's all these bad things about it. I know this causes a skin reaction for a lot of people. I'm wearing the shade 200B Shortbread. I can feel like things happening on my face. It definitely doesn't feel right. Like I will be washing off my face after this video. But if you're someone who doesn't have sensitive skin, this might be totally fine. And if you like full coverage and like a satin finish, it is a really beautiful formula if your skin can deal with it. And then last foundation, number 16, is actually one of my favorite foundations. It's the Natural Radiant Finish. I can never remember the friggin' order. Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation by NARS. This is in the shade Mont Blanc. The shade match isn't perfect for me. It's a little bit too on the pink side, so I need to try and get like a better shade match, but this has clearly been well loved. This is like if you want that foundation that has the perfect satin finish where it's not too dewy, but it's not too matte. You just want a true satin finish foundation with great coverage. This is your guy. The only thing I don't like about this one is that throughout the day I do get some like upper lip creasing on me. So when I wear this one, I definitely just need to be careful about like prepping my skin and using like a smoothing primer and stuff so the creasing, oh my god, can I talk? Wow. So the creasing isn't as bad. So I don't think this one would probably wear the best if you have more mature skin, but if you want full coverage satin finish and you haven't tried this one, give it a go. All right, so those are my thoughts on 16 of the best-selling foundations on Sephora. Let me know if you guys think these are worth the hype. Goes to show that just because something is really hyped up doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Who knows? We don't know how many of these are like initial sales versus repurchases either. My guess would be in order for older foundations like Double Wear and Kat Von D to be on there. Those are probably a lot of repurchases because it's not like those are super hyped up anymore. My guess would be foundations like the Fenty and just newer launches that are really hyped up are more of like initial sales versus repurchases. Let me know if you guys want to see this with the top rated foundations. I feel like I've asked you to let me know about 500 different things in this video, but if you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. I'm gonna have all the foundations linked down below along with their review videos down there if you want to know more about any of them. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.